This morning, you might find some of your neighbors grabbing shovels. A Northern California couple found a real-life treasure buried in their backyard. Ben Tracy shows us how it will make them accidental millionaires.
Some folks have found the strangest things hiding in their backyards. Stuff so wild it might have you thinking about selling your house on the spot. Just when you think you've seen it all, someone finds $10 million in gold coins buried right under their feet. Okay, that's not exactly an everyday thing, but for the people in this video, it really happened. There are actually quite a few stories of folks digging around for a garden or pool, only to uncover something completely unexpected. Imagine finding some of this stuff right under your lawn. What would you even do? 400-year-old church bells. Back in 2013, a man in the Czech Republic was digging up part of his yard to put in some new pipes when he hit something metal. It caught his attention, so he kept digging. It took a few days, but when he finally uncovered it, he found not one, but two huge church bells, about 400 years old. Turns out they were stolen from a nearby church 11 years earlier and buried there. The thief never came back for them. 17th century cemetery. Vincent Marcello from New Orleans just wanted a swimming pool. But while digging out the space in his yard, he ended up uncovering something way different, a hidden cemetery from the 1700s. Yeah, not exactly what you'd want to find under your future pool. The workers found 13 old caskets with human remains. Sadly, this isn't that unusual for the area. Back in 1984, another construction crew found 34 more bodies while building an apartment complex. Raise your hand if you're now rethinking any move to New Orleans. The nuclear shelter. The Zwick family always knew there was a big metal door in their backyard. They assumed it didn't lead anywhere important, so they never really messed with it. But one day, they got curious and finally decided to check it out. When they opened the hatch, they found an old Cold War-era fallout shelter buried underground. Inside were clothes, medical supplies, tools, even flashlights, like a time capsule just waiting to be discovered. Giant earthworm. In China, a man named Li Zhijun was just hanging some laundry in his backyard when he spotted what looked like a snake slithering nearby. But when he looked closer, he realized it was actually a worm, nearly 20 inches long. That's not a typo. Scientists were baffled since earthworms usually only grow based on their environment. This one looked like it had been hitting the gym or eating something way bigger than soil. Grenades and TNT explosives. Imagine heading out to your backyard and finding a hand grenade just sitting there. That's exactly what happened to a 39-year-old man in the Czech Republic in May 2013. He was trying to dig out a tree stump when he noticed something strange buried underneath. Unsure of what he was looking at, he called the police. Turns out his yard was full of World War II explosives, dozens of hand grenades, and several sticks of TNT. Not exactly the kind of backyard surprise anyone wants. Mastodon vertebrae. When you're a kid playing outside with your friend, you're not expecting to stumble on anything more exciting than a bug or a cool rock. But Eric and Andrew, two boys from Detroit, got a lot more than that. While building a dam in the little creek behind their house, Eric picked up what he thought was just an odd-looking stone. He showed it to his mom, who decided to have it checked out, just in case. A paleontologist later confirmed it was a 13,000-year-old mastodon vertebra. Not your everyday backyard find. Mammoth bones. A family in Iowa was out enjoying the day, picking fruit in the wooded area behind their house when they spotted something white sticking out of the dirt. The mom thought maybe it was some garden decoration she had forgotten about, but it turned out to be something much more surprising. After some careful digging, they realized it was a huge bone. Scientists from a nearby university later confirmed it was the femur of a woolly mammoth, estimated to be around 12,000 years old. Alligator in a swimming pool. In Florida, finding strange wildlife in your yard isn't all that unusual, but it still gives people a scare. Sharon Bente and her husband, who live in Bradenton, Florida, had a run-in with one of the state's famous visitors, They heard a strange noise coming from their backyard, and when they went to check it out, they found an 8-foot alligator relaxing in their swimming pool. They called the sheriff right away, just another Florida story to add to the list. $10 million in gold coins. Some folks go looking for treasure their whole lives and never find a thing. But for one lucky couple in the Sierra Nevada area of California, the treasure basically found them. While out walking their dog on their property, they noticed a rusty old canister sticking out of the dirt. Curious, they dug it up and were shocked to find it full of gold coins dating back to the 1890s. The coins had a face value of just under $28,000, but today they're worth close to $10 million. Talk about stumbling onto history, $150,000 in straight cash. You don't really expect to get rich while picking broccoli in your backyard, but that's exactly what happened to Wayne Sabaj. He was a 51-year-old out of work when he discovered $150,000 in cash hidden inside a nylon bag in his garden. He did the right thing and called the police, hoping that if no one claimed it after a year, it would become his. Later on, it turned out his neighbor had tossed the money, believing it was cursed. In the end, a judge split the money between Sabaj and the neighbor's daughter. A Ferrari. Back in 1978, two kids in Los Angeles were digging around for fun in the backyard when they uncovered something wild, a buried Ferrari Dino 246 GTS. Once the car was dug up and checked out, they found out it had been stolen years earlier. It was likely buried as part of an insurance scam with plans to come back for it later. Strangely, no one in the area had any clue it was there the whole time. A cheetah. If your kid ran into the kitchen shouting that there was a cheetah in the backyard, you'd probably laugh it off. That's exactly what Juliana Taylor thought when her son came running in. But when she looked outside, she froze. Because there really was a cheetah in the yard. The 6-foot-long animal had escaped from a nearby wildlife sanctuary and ended up right on their property in the UK. 1,000-year-old human remains. One man in Utah was digging out space for a pond in his yard when he hit something that made his stomach drop, bones. He immediately called the police, thinking it was something serious. It was. After tests, the medical examiner confirmed that the bones were human and incredibly old. They had once belonged to a Native American who had lived in the region roughly 1,000 years ago. Loaded machine gun. Firearms aren't that unusual in the U.S., but in Canada, it's a different story. A man in Calgary had a disturbing find when he went to take out the trash and saw a pillowcase lying near his garbage bins. He looked inside and was shocked to find a fully loaded machine gun along with a cell phone. The scariest part? To this day, nobody knows where they came from or who they belong to. Meteorites. Finding a meteorite is already rare. Noticing one instead of thinking it's just a dark rock makes it even tougher. But a man in a small village in northern Bosnia somehow found 6 different meteorite pieces in his own backyard. For whatever reason, his property seems to attract them. He even jokes that aliens might be aiming them at him on purpose, which honestly makes the whole thing even funnier. 650-year-old treasure. In 2007, a man from Wiener Neustadt in Austria was digging to expand his garden pool when he uncovered a stash of treasure believed to be around 650 years old. It sounds like something out of an adventure movie, but it actually happened. The collection included more than 200 rings, brooches, decorated belt buckles, gold-plated silver dishes, and all kinds of old jewelry. If anyone was still looking for hidden treasure, this guy certainly beat them to it. Bombs from World War II. Back in World War II, huge areas of land across the U.S. were used to test new weapons. Years later, thousands of homes were built over some of those same testing grounds. One of the biggest areas was a range in Orlando. Once houses started going up on the old 12,000-acre site, people began finding bits of shrapnel turning up all over the place. The first major discovery was in 1998, and since then, more than 100 rockets have been found in people's yards. Not exactly something you want under your lawn. Dinosaur bones? It's wild to imagine dinosaurs roaming the same ground we walk on today. In 1997, John Lambert from Ipswich, UK, was putting up a fence in his backyard when he dug up a large, strange-looking bone. He kept it for 16 years before finally taking it to a museum. Experts were stunned when they examined it. The bone was about 250 million years old and came from a pliosaur. Turns out he had a piece of ancient history sitting in his shed all that time. A famous actress. Now here's something no one expects to find in their backyard. In 1996, a homeowner came outside and found a frightened woman hiding there, wearing dirty clothes and missing several teeth. At first, it seemed like she had been struggling for a long time, but it turned out she was Margot Kidder, the actress who played Lois Lane in the Superman movies. She was later diagnosed with bipolar disorder and received treatment, eventually making a full recovery. Ancient stone. Stephen Davis, an amateur historian from England, got curious one day and started digging into the history of his own home. While doing some research, he came across an old reference to a stone believed to mark a Bronze Age burial site, dating all the way back to around 2500 BCE. That caught his interest, so he went looking for it. After some searching, he found the stone hidden in his own backyard, almost completely buried under thick ivy. At the time, the Historic Buildings and Monuments Commission for England was expected to officially recognize it as a scheduled ancient monument. That wraps up this incredible list of backyard discoveries. From lost treasures to ancient history, it's amazing what people have stumbled across just a few steps from their own back doors. If you enjoyed these stories, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more wild and true discoveries like these. You never know what you'll find next, maybe even in your own backyard.